Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Joe, welcome. Happy
Yes, good morning, man.
2025, man.
Oh, I know it, man. It's finally here, finally here. So we're gonna be making some big money, big money.
Yes. Yeah, we got some big moves. I mean, look, today already, I not that I'm trying to like spoil the thunder, but Bitcoin back up over 100K.
Yes.
So, I mean, here we are. Now, I don't know. Me personally, I'll throw my 2 cents in there before Joe gets into the charts. I think we're going to see a lot of volatility this week. So I believe we might go back below that 100K mark. But then as we're moving toward, I don't know if anybody was watching Piper Academy this morning, as he called Orange Day, as we're moving toward that there for the 20th of this month. I think we're gonna be picking up again. That's my 2 cents. Joe may have a different opinion. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
But I will say this real quick: everybody's gonna be a genius.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Yes.
gonna be a genius, and
Yep.
I'm already seeing it. I saw a few shows already today, and yeah, everybody's a genius. So give you a heads up. Get
Yep.
prepared. Get prepared.
Yeah, that's right. Get prepared, but be prepared with the right people. So,
Right.
like, heading over, see this guy here again. Link to his information in the description. Make sure you're following him, even if you're not already. So, but we're gonna change things up. If you've been watching this stream for a while, we're gonna change things up. Just the way the format is going here right now, just a little bit. We're gonna have Joe kind of go first and talk the markets a little bit. And then I'll get to the end, because when we're done here, we're going to head on over to see Joe's stream, which starts at noontime. So, and matter of fact, all you'll have to do is sit here right to the end, and it'll take you right over on YouTube. It'll just bounce you right over there when I'm all done. And Dave P in the house, welcome, Dave. Appreciate you being here. Alexandra G is in the house. Welcome, Alexandra. Best mod in the business, no doubt. Crypto Billy in the house. We got all the heavy hitters in the house this morning,
Hey.
let me tell you. Wow. All the heavy hitters. I love it. All right. So, Joe, I think before we throw your chart up there, we should probably look at this. Let me put this up on the stage right now. Fear and greed index. Let's right now, we're in extreme greed. I mean, kind of makes sense. People are like anxious for what's coming. I think anyway. What do you say?
Oh, heck yeah. Yeah. We've been waiting for this. We just need just a little glimpse of the hope, and we're just gonna tackle it. So yeah, that's it's gonna be going up fairly quick. Shoot, man, I don't even know what today. Oh, Monday.
Yeah,
I'd say by
today
Wednesday,
we're Monday, Joe.
Wednesday, Thursday, we'll probably be up in the 80s. So we'll see.
All right, awesome. I agree. It's only going to be going up from here. Automatic beats in the house. Told you all the heavy hitters were here today, boy. I'll tell you what, we got everybody in the house today. Appreciate that. Thank you very much for being here on our new time, 11 a.m. All right, so we're going to let Joe get into his thing, because I'm sure he has some last minute stuff he's got to get ready for his stream. So Joe, if you're ready, I'll bring up the screen and you can take it away. Oh, wait, no choking on anything.
Oh, I know it. Man, I'm loaded up on cough drops right now. Loaded up on cough
Okay.
drops. See if they work.
All right. Well, as long as you're good, let's
I'm
bring
good.
this up and go to it, brother.
All right. So we were talking about Bitcoin movement. We do this every day on my show, 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. And we just kind of scratched everything, took everything off the chart, and starting fresh. And I like doing this at least once a week, maybe every other week. But this was our thought process. This is our danger zone. We don't want to cross underneath this level around 91.6, because if we do, well, we have nothing really to stop us. Nothing really to stop us. There's no support resistance levels that are constant, like this, up, down, up, down. And because of that, this is known as a low volume node. So there's no volume really. And it's just, if it breaks this level, there's nothing to stop it from coming down to around this level, which would be around 75, 78-ish area. Now, with that being said, we do have this area that we're looking for a possible bounce, just due to the previous price action, support, resistance. You can also draw trend lines. But you can see here, it created this zone with this right here, and it's been respecting this zone ever since. So my thought process, if price, which is up here, if it does come down, now granted, everybody right now, is bringing out the champagne and the drinks and everything else and celebrating because they see this, but we cannot get blinded by this and the FOMO and the basically what you don't want to do is you don't want your emotions to overtake your logic. You always have to have the, plan A, plan B. So for here, what we're doing is we're seeing, okay, price is here. If the price comes down, it needs to bounce here. Now, granted, coins never need to do anything, but it does. It needs to bounce here in order for us to remain bullish. Now, if it comes down underneath this, then we can change our mindset to bearish. Now, with that being said, we had this other zone. And all throughout the charts, nothing but zones. But we had this other zone of resistance. This is our decision point. Is it going to break up or is it going to come down? And if it does come down, well, now because we had the logical part of just kind of looking at everything, if it does come down, we don't freak out. We look and we see, and the only thing we can do is wait. We need time to pass. The more time we have, the more data we have. So as time passes, then we're looking for a bounce. If it bounces, great. Perfect. Hopefully come up to this zone. So now it's doing this. It's in this range. But if it breaks this, well, then there's a pretty good chance we're going to come down to these areas of low volume. Now, fast forward to now. Well, now everybody's a genius. Everybody's got, indicators, and it bounced over the 200. And I don't even know what it is. Like, let's just bring it up so I can look like a genius. Hold on. All right. So here we go. Let's go to, we can say the 4 hour. Look, guys, we're above the 200 SMA on the 4 hour time frame, and it's above it. So that's good. Yes, I mean, that's true. When the price action is above a moving average, it's good. The moving average is not a level of support or resistance. Right. It is moving average. It's in the name, moving average. So it moves depending on the price action. So with this being said, if it's above a moving average, it's good. If it's below, it's not good. There's a lot of mentors I see out there that say that, this is a support resistance. It's not. It's an average. Now, granted, is it a form of support resistance? Yes, I will agree with that 100%. But it is not a support resistance, if that makes sense. Because it moves. It's fluid. Right. It's water. Just because it's here right now doesn't mean that this level is going to be here. This is the average of where the candle body closes. So it just makes sense. The more time that passes, the price will go to the average, or it'll actually create the average. It won't go to it. It'll go to it, but it's not a magnet because this can continue going up, and then the moving average has to continue to follow it. All right. So with that being said, do I think that we're going to get a retrace? Yes. Why? Because price goes up, price goes down. Here, price went up, price came down. Do I think we're going to come and break this level? So now, this is the level that I don't want it to break in order for us to maintain the bullishness. And it just, the more you just kind of think about it, I mean, and when people say it, it sounds like super, super smart, but it's like saying if you touch a hot stove, you're going to burn yourself. I mean, it's just true. It's fact. Right. Same thing here. If the price action stays above this level, we're bullish. So all this is bullish. If it breaks below this, well, then we still have this to be bullish. If it breaks below this, then we're bearish. And so as long as we stay above this area, we're good. And now you can have all these different indicators and that, but the indicators, what they do is they tell you what happened, past tense. They don't tell you what's going to happen. There was one, the Ikumuku cloud. When I first found that one, I was like, oh man, I love that because it tells me the future. Because it has the cloud. No, I got wrecked.
It does seem like it'll tell you the future, doesn't it? I remember the first time I found it. I agree with you. I agree. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, but you're absolutely right because it has those clouds. It's like, oh man, this is great. But what the future changes based off of the present. So if the candles were to do something different, well, then your cloud changes. And so whenever it comes to indicators, yes, use them, but rely on your price action because your price action is the driver for the vehicle, if you want to call your indicator a vehicle, you have to pay attention to the driver. Your driver has to be awake. It can't be asleep.
Yeah, right.
You know, he needs to have eyes on the road, you know, hand on the wheel. But yeah, as far as Bitcoin goes, right now we had this massive pump of almost 4% for Bitcoin. That is massive.
Yes.
You know, if we get a 1%, we're great. But here it's 4 times the amount that we normally have just in one 4-hour candle. So because of that, I would expect price to come down. And then, of course, what I really want, this is what I really want. I want for the alts to decouple from Bitcoin. And when that happens, that's alt season. It doesn't matter if Bitcoin goes up or down. It doesn't even matter. The alts will just go, you know, just pretty much straight up. Give us a 40, 50%, retrace 30, 40%, go up another 80, 90%, retrace about 30%, and just keep on going, regardless of what Bitcoin's doing. So I'm waiting for that moment, and that moment is getting closer and closer and closer. So yeah.
There we go. So it sounds like we're pretty much on the same page with that. And I brought it up earlier, but I wanted to bring it back up. Alexander G is agreeing with you. Yeah, trade on the data, not the emotions. Yeah, man. We've all done it though.
See, and that's the beautiful part. That's why, like, we're smarter today than we were yesterday, because we're gonna make those mistakes, and then we realize, oh man, I shouldn't have done that. This is what I need to do. And there's times where we got to do that same mistake multiple times. Heck, I've been married
before
3
we
times.
Learn.
Yes. Yep. So you repeat those mistakes, and then it's like, oh, okay, not gonna do it.
Yeah, eventually, you know, we hit our head against that wall enough times, and Joe, one thing I just want to throw it out there, because I want to go through the national debt in a minute here, but I can't connect our stream to your stream. I think you are missing a setting in the back end of your YouTube.
Am I really?
I think so. I just shot you a picture of it on Telegram, just FYI. But time to get the blood pressure medicine out. Yes. Time to take a look.
You are my reminder every Monday. You are my reminder.
Got to do it, man. Got to listen. It's funny. I've been talking, you know, to a bunch of different people, just like random conversations. And if money ever comes up, I am truly surprised lately how many people know pretty close to exactly where we are in debt right now.
Really?
It's actually, it's shocking the crap out of me. I mean, I don't know if I'm just talking to the right people or whatever, but I mean, it's not like I'm planning these conversations. They're random conversations. Even yesterday, a guy just random. Three of us were just sitting there shooting the crap, and it was something about inflation we started talking about, and he came out and says, yeah, because we're like $37 trillion in debt. And I was just like, holy crap, he knows. It's like, holy crap. So it's a bit refreshing. That's all I'm going to say. All right. So now Joe and I haven't been live on Monday. This is 3 weeks ago we were live, and one of them I had some family things going on, couldn't do it. And then obviously we had planned to take the week between Christmas and New Year's off. So here we are, brand new 2025. But we got to dip back a little bit to see where we were when we were live 3 weeks ago. So, and if I can find the right tab, there it is. Let's bring this up and make it big, because for whatever reason I don't understand. It's a bit blurry, so I'm hoping that looks readable there at this point. Hang on one second. I do not know what's going on. I'm getting warnings that all of a sudden I'm no longer live on X. So if you were watching on X, I'm so sorry. I don't know what's going on right now with everything. Anyway, so this actually says 36,234,000,000,000 dollars. That's where we were again. I know, I'm sorry. I tried to clear it up. I can't do it. So you got to take my word for it. That's what that sucker says. But now let's take the live look at things here on the national debt clock. All right, 36,316,000,000,000. So that's a difference of doing the rough math in my head, about $80 billion, I guess. I mean, that's a lot, but I'm not gonna lie, I kind of expected it was going to be higher after 3 weeks.
And then especially with the people who are still in office, they're like, "Oh, you need money? Oh, you need money? You get money. You get money." Yeah, they're like,
it's like this.
Like, yeah,
I was like, I like that. Yeah, like dishing out that money. It's like So you know what? I'm gonna bring that up full screen. So next week, when we're doing this, you can hopefully get a clearer view of what the debt is. So again, 36,316,000,000,000. That's all I got, man. That's it just makes me want to, like, what the again, it should piss you off. If it doesn't piss you off, why are you even here? I'm just saying, why are you even here?
But it's gonna get better. It's gonna get better.
I hope so. I mean, whether or not
these next 10 years, maybe even 12. So we got to do it in fours. So in these next 12 years, with the new president, then hopefully JD Vance takes over, goes for 8 years. So
that would be nice.
Yeah. So maybe 12 years of getting the debt under control and society back to. There was a thing that I was thinking about where, how these past, and this is kind of off track, but it's kind of on track a little bit. It's off track. So how right now, if you ask somebody on the street, can a woman get pregnant? I mean, can a man get pregnant? Or what is a woman? Or just one of those dumb questions.
Yeah. One of those questions that should be blatantly obvious. Yes.
Right. And they have to like stop and think about it and like give not a morally, but a politically correct answer. And well, it depends and blah, blah. And so can you imagine in about 4 years stopping somebody and asking them that same question? Like the hesitancy is going to be like very minimum. And then in 8 years, it's going to go back to what we were prior to this administration. It was like a man getting pregnant. What? It's going to be that. So I just had that idea and I'm just going off. All right.
No, hey.
Maybe it's all the cough drops. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But can you imagine that? I mean, how ridiculous have we gotten? And then the same thing with the whole debt thing. We're not going to be giving all this money to all these different countries. Now it's going to be like, we have vets, homeless vets. We have, women's battered shelter, food banks, all that stuff. We need help. If we're going to print money, print it for us,
Well, exactly. I mean, take care of the home.
If you think about it, you cannot fight for somebody if you're starving, if you're weak, if you're malnourished. You have to be nourished and strong, eating that steak so that you can go and continue to fight. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Amen, brother. And that's why you got to take care of yourself first. You gotta be able to have a little bit of self-love and be able to do what you need to do for you so you can do what you need to do for others. And Billy Goat Tales, if we got people in here that aren't subscribed to Billy Goat Tales, go do that. They do a morning motivational thing, or Crypto Billy does. That video comes out pretty much every day, and he talks about a lot of that. So you should definitely go and check that out if you have not already. All right, Joe, I know you may need to go and try and fix that up, and I'll check in toward the end of the stream and see if I can connect again if you're able to fix that setting.
I'm actually looking for it right now, and I don't see it. I don't know where it's at, or
it's
so
somewhere
I'm gonna
in
Google it.
like, you got to go into like YouTube settings, and it's somewhere in there, and it's a little link that says something about letting people forward to you, or I can't remember the exact verbiage that's in there, but it's yeah, it's literally a toggle switch. It's literally a toggle switch. And for everybody who doesn't already know, I'm going to put this up on the screen. Joe is live every day, Monday through Friday at noon Eastern time. And he gives you about an hour of like just basically free education about how to trade, and answers your questions. Heck, he looks at charts for you, the whole 9 yards. And then on the weekends, it's so Saturday, Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern time to check out his channel. All right. Then I'm going to start heading off. When you got to go, Joe, you go, you do what you got to do. I've got some news that I want to kind of cut through here today, guys. Just little stuff to kind of like, wet your proverbial whistle with what's going on in the space around the world, all that kind of stuff. So let me bring up the first tweet I have here. And, this, again, much like the debt, should concern people, especially if you are still operating and not living. Oh, wait, what did I just do? Yeah, let's do that a little better. There we go. If you're not like Joel Valenzuela and living on crypto, so you've basically exercised yourself, otherwise extricated yourself from the TradFi system, then you should be concerned about how much like unrealized losses these banks are holding. And I've done a couple of live streams on it. To be honest, I forgot to put it in the in the description, so you're gonna have to search them out on my channel. Sorry about that. But the losses that these banks are potentially holding, and just it's astronomical. In this particular tweet right here, you can see U.S. banks are now sitting on $515 billion in unrealized losses. I know when you compare that to the national debt that's in the trillions, it seems like nothing. But $515 billion in unrealized losses for banks that are already pretty much insolvent. Heck, again, we had the FDIC put out reports saying that 63 U.S. banks about on the brink of insolvency. And now you've got these banks and more of the banks holding $515 billion in unrealized debt. And according to this tweet, that's over 8 times the amount of debt from the 2008 financial crisis. Holy cow. That's all I got. And I love the fact that they have Wells Fargo here. If you ask me, Wells Fargo, one of the worst offenders with regard to a lot of this, but yeah, that's just me. I got things with Wells Fargo. Anyway, but that's just a crazy amount of debt to be holding. Crazy amount of debt. And if you think that alone can't bring down the banking system, that's all I got with regard to that. Joe, I know you're busy trying to get stuff set up in the background, but do you want to chime in anything on that?
Yeah, it's amazing. And I'm always amazed with the banks. The banks can loan out money that they don't have so that they can get the interest rate so they can build more banks and buy more expensive furniture. But I don't understand how, because they don't have money to begin with. But they're like the central agency that people go to get money, but they're only getting money from somebody who's already given them money to hold in their account. And then when you do want to take out your money, well, you can't. You have to make an appointment because they don't actually have the money in the bank. it makes no sense to me. It really does. It makes no sense to me. And then
It doesn't make any sense.
yeah, and then that they can go in debt so bad, and then if sometimes they get bailed out. Shoot, I want to get bailed out. Like where's
Wouldn't
my
that be
help?
nice? Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, we go to prison. We go to
Yeah.
prison because we can't pay. It's a system, and I've been kind of going down a rabbit hole. I try not to go down it too much, but in reference to the money system and how it's basically set to have the thumb and pushed under it. I mean, there's going to be some that make it. They're successful and they have money and they don't need to worry about looking at their checkbook or their bank account before they go get some groceries. But then there's the rest of us.
Yeah, there's the rest of the world. Yeah,
right. Where it's like, man, like I can't like I don't know what to do. Like I'm living paycheck to paycheck. My car that was a very beat up car, it broke now. Now I got to take the bus so I can go to work, and the money system is designed to put the thumb over us. It really is.
Yes.
And then the taxation on top of that, made up money that somebody put a value to.
Yep.
And then you got to pay taxes on it. Like everything is to bring us down. However, the ones that know about money and know how to do the system, well, they got to pay taxes, but if you think about it, I mean, they're making way more money and they're able to use their money. This is why, for one really great example, they don't teach us finance in school.
Of course not.
They teach us, the bell rings, you have recess. The bell rings again, you come back in. The bell rings, you go to lunch. The bell rings, you come back. And they're programming us to work. That's all they're doing, and work and pay taxes.
Exactly.
So.
And the tax system isn't made for W-2 employees. It's
right.
made for people who invest. If you're a worker, you're meant to be poor. That's that's the way they've set the system up. You are 1,000% on that. Yeah, 1,000% in the chat for that. That's for sure. Okay, now that we've depressed you even more beyond the national debt. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's try and put a little bit of optimism, maybe a little bit of hopium into your coffee cup this morning. So I'm going to start that direction by bringing up this tweet from Good Morning Crypto. Well, okay, I lied. One more piece of garbage before the hopium. I apologize. I forgot. I actually added this in right before the stream, which is why I forgot all about it. Hold on one second. Let me change that screen so you guys can see that a little bit better. Basically, there's a lot of information that's come out recently about the FDIC sending out letters basically alerting banks to stop developing Bitcoin banking type products. So like, right here, he lists it, like Bitcoin cashback rewards cards, Bitcoin link payment cards, Bitcoin back loans, trading, custody, which is again back to the Saab 121 thing that Biden vetoed several months back. Again, links to all this. But we're gonna. Joe, feel free, jump in and say whatever you want to say, your piece about this. But I'm gonna get off of this otherwise pretty quick because we've done enough depressing people.
Yeah. I kind of don't want to touch that because I will just go on. We need another show for that.
I know. Operation Choke Point 2.0. And listen, tomorrow night I'm planning to bring up the recent tweet from John Deaton, the crypto lawyer who ran against Elizabeth Warren, who was obviously instrumental in the amicus brief for the Ripple case. And he has offered to basically root out all this information and the collusion about Choke Point 2.0 for free, just because. And I'm hoping that the incoming administration will give him an opportunity to do that. And I didn't bring that up to talk about that today because I plan to talk about it tomorrow. But I'm hopeful. So crap like this that we just looked at, people can actually see the collusion, see what the government and the banking system is doing to you. And I really do believe, okay, here's my hopium for 2025. I do believe that more and more people are starting to be like, something about that just ain't right. and starting to, if nothing else, at least realize something's broken. And if they go beyond that and realize who is causing the break, bonus, winner, chicken dinner. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's my hopium for me for 2025.
Yeah, and like I said, like if it wasn't for crypto, like I wouldn't know any of this stuff. Like, and it's only because of crypto I started listening to, as far as the government and Powell and him saying that we need the unemployment rate to go up, and I'm thinking like, did I hear that? Why would you want people not to have jobs? Like it doesn't make any. I
right,
went
it does not
hole,
make sense. Yes,
and it's like, okay, well, there's a problem, there's a solution. The problem is, we're spending too much or whatever. Solution, no, the result is inflation. The problem is we're spending too much. The solution, don't spend so much.
Yeah.
Who's spending it? The government. Who's suffering for it? Who's suffering from it? We are. So it doesn't make any sense. I mean, there's times where, my blood pressure, I know would be so much lower if I didn't know about crypto. But now that I know it, like my eyes are open, it's like, man, like really that's what the government does? And you think, oh, the government, and like you got to be careful too, because Lord forbid you make a car that doesn't take gasoline or fuel. Lord forbid you do that, because you show up missing. I'm just saying, there's a lot of people that
you're not wrong.
Done that about electricity, about you show up missing. Just to let you know, guys, if I ever show up missing, it wasn't with my own accord. I'm just telling you right now.
It wasn't because he just decided to like take off and go off the grid.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
Right now.
Same here. Just saying.
Yeah.
Because don't think we ain't on a list. Oh, I'm on a list. I guarantee it.
Because they want everybody to sleep. They want everybody to sleep. That's what they want.
Yeah, because then you're governable. Then you could you just shut up and get taxed and 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 taxed, and then you wonder why you're eating scraps, because it is what it is. Okay, we're gonna keep going down this hole. We're gonna keep. Listen, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna put this back up because I don't know. I know the people who are listening to this live stream are still kind of lurking in the background in this live stream. I know you get it. You're here, you're in crypto. The likelihood is very high that you get this message. You understand this message. But like the message itself, the story of the why, the who, it has to go out. It has to be spread. And I ask that, if you know somebody who needs to see this, share this. And doesn't even have to be me. Share Piper Academy. Piper talks about it every single morning, Monday through Friday. And pick a person. Doesn't matter. Whoever your favorite YouTuber is, your influencer is, put it out there. Share it. Do that. And thank you, Alexandra G. You just made my day. You just made my day. And it's just, it needs to be heard. It needs to be heard. And like I said, my hopium and that conversation, that story I was telling you from a little bit earlier, having these random conversations lately, and that people at least understand where we are in debt. It's encouraging to me that the message is getting out, but it's getting out at a very super slow pace. And the problem is that beyond the slow pace is that the message of who is causing it, what the reason is for it, is getting convoluted and lost in the spin that we see in media. And listen, again, you've heard me say, I think our government is kind of like two wings of the same bird. So, Democrat Party, Republican Party, whatever. And the couple of straight independents, as I'm using my air quotes, that we have peppered in there in Congress and so on. They all spend more than they're supposed to spend. they all have no issue sending our money outside of our borders. It's not a one party versus the other party kind of thing. I mean, yes, I believe one party does it more than the other party, but that's just my opinion, maybe my bias from my upbringing and where I grew up and all that kind of stuff, perhaps. But beyond that, it has to be understood that it's everybody. It's whoever we put in there. The key is we should be able to get them out of there, but for some reason, trying to get them out of there, like a prime example, I just mentioned John Deaton. I didn't mean to get on the soapbox, guys. I'm sorry, but I really didn't mean this to get on the soapbox. But John Deaton ran against Elizabeth Warren. He got much more in the way of votes than I would have anticipated in deep blue Massachusetts. Mostly because even in deep blue Massachusetts, people are fed up. People are sick of, struggling to pay the rent, to pay the mortgage, to buy food, to get whatever for their kids, to keep food in their stomachs and clothes on their backs. They're just fed up. They're fed up, even here. Now, did he win? No, obviously not, because we still got Elizabeth Warren. And if you were just coming from Randy Hipper's stream, she kind of went off a little bit on Elizabeth Warren. And you know what? Thumbs up. I put it right in her chat. Preach, baby, preach, because it's the truth. You don't even have to live in Massachusetts to understand the damage and just the unadulterated collusion. And that's the only word I can really think of with regard to her, with the banking association and what she's got going on and how she can sit on a banking subcommittee just like, yep. It doesn't make sense to me. It shouldn't be possible. But then again, it also shouldn't be possible for all of our congressmen, senators, and other elected officials to be able to do insider trading and make gazillions of dollars. I mean, you go into politics, you get paid 150, 180 grand a year, and somehow you walk out with $10 million because you trade better than some of the best traders on the planet with regard to what you're investing in. Again, not possible if you're not being dirty about it. Just not. I mean, you, Joe, tell me I'm wrong. Like, traders just are not that lucky all the damn time. They're just not. It doesn't matter. I don't care what you're trading, crypto, stocks, it doesn't matter. Right. That does not matter at all. Thank you, Alexander. Like I said, guys, I appreciate everybody's patience and understanding as I go off on my soapbox here. And can you tell I'm a little bit passionate about it and why I do what I do here. The word needs to get out, not just about crypto. Yes, primarily about crypto. This is a cryptocurrency channel, but you have to understand a lot of things in a much bigger, broader context in order to see why crypto is so important, in order to see why you choose certain cryptocurrencies to accomplish certain goals, tasks. Because again, even that being said, and again, Joe, feel free, you're here, tell me I'm wrong, but not all crypto is created equal. Sorry, it's just not. Yep. Just not. And again, not trying to get down that rabbit hole either there. I could that, like Joe said, would be for another whole live stream at some point. But all right, let's here we go. I'm trying to swap this around because Joe's stream starts in like 20 minutes, so we got to be able to get over there to see Joe. All right, let's bring up this next one. And again, back to the hopium that I was supposed to bring you earlier and did not. So my apologies. Now this is from Dennis Porter, and I mixed feelings with regard to Dennis. Whoops, wrong button. With regard to Dennis Porter. Sometimes people like to pick on him for making an announcement about an announcement, which is true, but it's like still, he is still a good person in the space. He is moving forward with the Satoshi Action Fund, trying to get adoption on a state level primarily. So because again, in the United States, I know we might have people internationally here, but in the United States, states can, in many cases and for a lot of different things, basically give the middle finger to the government and do what they want to do via the 10th Amendment. So this, he points out here in this particular tweet, we expect to see strategic Bitcoin reserves added to several nations. Now, he happens to be pointing this out on an international basis, but let's be honest. This was put out by Franklin Templeton with all these bullet points, but they're doing their due diligence and looking into this because of what? The incoming administration basically promising to do something surrounding a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Now, whether that's stop selling Bitcoin, whether that's taking Senator Lummis's bill and buying Bitcoin, I forgot what her bill said to buy on a consistent basis, but either way, something like that. And when that happens, what they've highlighted here is what's going to happen. FOMO is going to hit, but it's going to hit from a national level. These governments are not going to want to fall behind. Hell, some of them are already out there mining Bitcoin. Let's be honest. And I'm going to show you something about that in a minute. But so they're already out there mining Bitcoin. They're putting it in their wallets and just kind of like sitting on it. You got El Salvador getting a loan from the IMF, which I think was a mistake in my opinion, but that's another video for another live stream for another day. But what are they doing with it? They're taking it and they're purchasing Bitcoin on top of Bitcoin, on top of the already amount of Bitcoin they've purchased. So the point here in this particular report, that Bitcoin is going to be a digital store of value. And again, using my air quotes, it's meant to be peer-to-peer cash, but digital store of value. And it's going to happen on a sovereign and institutional level. We're seeing that happen everywhere at this point, everywhere. I mean, companies doing it all the time. Countries, again, you're starting to see it all the time. I don't think you'll find one person in the cryptocurrency space, whether you're a Bitcoin maxi or not, that's thinking that this isn't going to happen, especially if this incoming administration does a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Any thoughts you want to throw in on that, Joe? I know your time is waning here, but please.
I do want to say something.
Yes.
So the government made the monetary system, the dollar. It's been used forever. Then a new kid on the block comes around, Bitcoin. Everybody laughs. Nobody thinks that it can do anything. Fast forward to now the governments and other countries are saying this is the way that we need to go because it's a limited supply. We can't just print it on the whim, and so because of that, like the thought process behind this, which is Bitcoin, is so genius that as time goes on, the supply reduces, which increases the value, supply demand, versus what we're doing as a government, where we can just print whatever we want. Oh, that costs $7 trillion. I'll give you $8 trillion. Here's another trillion just for whatever.
Yeah.
Because they can just print
for
it.
What's going to get
They don't
laundered.
need to work for it. They don't need to do anything. It's already whatever they want. But my whole thing is, like, for the governments to say we have a monetary system, but we see the value of this, we're kind of going to bow down respectfully so that we can start making this the reserve. Like how much, like, how do I say this? It's before you're it's like this is the only answer, but now you have to like swallow your pride, because before that's all it was pride. Oh, Bitcoin's nothing, it's a scam. But now you got to swallow your pride and say, okay, this is how it needs to be done. to now we're using our money that we created to buy this Bitcoin to reserve it, to have it as a reserve. So just thinking it from that aspect is like, man, like Bitcoin has come a long way from being laughed at to now being adopted by all these countries. It just amazes me.
Nope. And well said. I can't even add anything to that. Well said. It is mind-boggling when you think about it, and it's all based out of greed with regard to why Bitcoin was needed and why Bitcoin will, as Saifuddin Ammous likes to say, eat everything. It'll eat the central banks. It'll do all that. And that's why, because people just, like you said, you eat 7, I'll give you 8. Here you go. It's like, no big deal. We can just hit the printer. It's at a 0. It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, not so much. And just so you know, Joe, I was just trying again while you were talking about that to put that over, and it's still showing where I see it, but I can't connect to it. Just so you know.
Yeah, it's fine. I fixed it on my end, and I saved it and everything. So I'm not sure. Maybe on the next one.
Oh, I don't know why it should automatically. You know what? I'll refresh in the background, and maybe that will do it. Maybe because I didn't refresh the screen. I'll go back in a minute and try. Whoops, wrong button. Try it again. Okay, so let's get rid of this. And yeah, we're winding down. I got 10 minutes to wrap this puppy up. So let's share this. This is what I was talking about when we were talking. I mentioned countries mining Bitcoin. Now, this isn't countries. This is actually the city of Fort Worth, Texas, now has Bitcoin miners inside City Hall running 24/7.
Wow.
How crazy is that? How crazy is that? It's like, yes. And we see a lot of states doing adoption all the time. We see it all the time. And again, thanks in part to Dennis Porter and all the work from the Satoshi Action Fund to make that legislation come to life in all these states. But I thought this was talk about a unique approach. Bitcoin mining right there in City Hall. So if you're good with it, Joe, I want to run this. It's like a 2-minute clip, and just let the news do its thing.
Yeah.
All right. Hang on. Let me.
The city of Fort Worth is jumping into cryptocurrency and doing it in a big way.
Yeah, they're going to mine for Bitcoin at City Hall, the first for an American city. Mayor Maddie Parker says this is a commitment to a high-tech future for the city of Fort Worth. And Fox Sports' Macy Jenkins joins us now, and you've got pluses and the minuses and all things crypto from Fort Worth. Macy.
Absolutely. Heather and Steve learned a lot about crypto and Bitcoin today. Fort Worth, of course, getting a lot of attention after announcing that they will have 3 Bitcoin machines running in City Hall 24 hours a day for the next 6 months. Like you said, Mayor Maddie Parker says that these machines mark the city's commitment to becoming a leading hub for technology and innovation.
Okay, we are officially mining Bitcoin in the city of Fort Worth.
Fort Worth making history today as the first city in the United States to mine Bitcoin.
I love what's happened in the last 24 hours. People are already talking about Fort Worth that have never heard of our community before.
But even though everybody's talking about Bitcoin, not everybody understands exactly what it is.
Bitcoin is a digital currency. It exists only online.
And as TCU entrepreneurship professor Michael Sherritt explains, that digital currency or cryptocurrency is hidden in cyberspace.
The inventor put the Bitcoin out on the net, and you have to solve cryptological problems in order to find Bitcoin.
It's literally a treasure hunt, and it takes powerful, high-speed processors.
I love how they
to
call
do
it a treasure hunt.
So the computers that you use have to solve problems continuously. This is why they use up so much electricity.
For the next 6 months, 3 Bitcoin mining machines will run 24/7 in a climate-controlled data center inside of City Hall. But the city insists each one will only use the energy equivalent to a household vacuum cleaner.
It's an incredibly innovative thing to do. There's no question about that.
Sherrod says an alternative pool of current.
I just need to stop that for a second, because what's one of the biggest detractors or one of the biggest pieces of FUD that they try and throw out there against Bitcoin? oh, it's going to suck down the energy of a planet, and oh, it runs a small country on that energy. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, no, maybe your vacuum cleaner. There we go. I'm sorry. I just had to stop and say that.
May come in handy for the city during a disaster or an emergency.
It could be used as a hedge if there's another pandemic, for instance, and sales taxes fall. They could use it as a hedge to pay for city services and that sort of thing.
Looking ahead, Sherrod says mining Bitcoin may also be a way to create more equity for Fort Worth residents.
All right, and I just thought that was great. And yeah, I'm with you. That's like, wow, Alexandra G. Yeah, it's like crazy to even think that governments, okay, state governments, city governments, whatever, would even consider that as an option at this point. I mean,
I have a
kind of
question.
crazy.
In reference to, they refer to Bitcoin as digital currency. What is your fiat that you have on your debit card? What is that? Digital currency. There's not a difference. So whenever you want to buy something, you get your debit card and you swipe it. You're not giving them actual physical money. It's all digital. Same thing with Bitcoin. But it's funny how Bitcoin, it's only digital currency. You've been using digital currency.
Yeah.
You
Your
put a
fiat
name
is
to it.
digital now.
Yeah. So your debit, I mean, who carries cash? Like nobody. I don't carry cash. I need to. Last time we had a hurricane, I had like nothing but quarters in my drawer and all my change, but I didn't have any cash because it's all just swipe. But
Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It is crazy. And by the way, Joe, just so you know, I was able to finally set that up. So now everybody that's watching, that's what it needed. It needed a refresh. So now everybody that's watching our stream, Joe is going to be heading over to his stream. It starts in 6 minutes. So we're going to just hang out here. I've got a couple more kind of things to just kind of housekeeping stuff to go through for the rest of 20, or at least the beginning of 2025. I don't know about the rest of 2025. And we'll kind of put that out there. But just to remind everybody, Joe, here, give them the 411 before you're heading out there.
Yeah, so right now we're doing Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to be adding more times for Monday through Friday. Just kind of give everybody a heads up. Yeah. So, because now the market's going to start getting really busy. And my main thing is all these people are going to get bamboozled by these people who have flashy watches and big, cars and houses and everything like that. And they're going to say, oh, get rich from what I teach you. But they're only rich because of the group. That's it. Like it literally comes down to that.
Right.
So I'm showing you that you can make money without having to give somebody a membership fee. And I do it all for free. Now, granted, if you want the membership, then of course you can do it. But I literally give you the whole layout for free. Monday through Friday, 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Also Saturday and Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I love questions. I love showing you the who, what, where, when, and especially the why. Why are we doing what we're doing? I give you the mindset, the thought process of every single little move that I do, as opposed to, oh, here's a setup, go. Because now you're going to be reliant on me to give you a setup. I want you to give me setups. So if you know this, if you learn this, now you're like, oh, okay, well, this and this happened. It did this and this. It looks good. This is the market cap. This is what it is. Right now, this is booming. Joe, check this out. I look at it like, dude, that's fire. Let's make some money.
Teaching a man to fish, right?
Right.
That's what it is. And I'll tell you what, I always do that. I point in the wrong direction here. He does that so well. I mean, when I first started in crypto, I was in a couple of groups. Like, Joe, you and I talked about this, and they were talking with terms that were just like over my head. I didn't know what the hell these abbreviations meant, what this indicator was, what this is. And then to boot, it's like, well, here's your entry, here's your exit, maybe and that was it. It wasn't like, okay, how did you come to that? Why did you assume that was the entry point or the exit point or whatever? And Joe does break it down Yeah, I don't catch all his shows. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna be that guy. But I do try to catch most of them because even though I'm not trading actively now, still good to keep up on that process because maybe I'm
Right.
gonna want to again. So, like I said, link to Joe's information in the description. Go follow this guy if you're not already doing that. Anything
Yeah,
else you
pretty
want
much
to throw
that.
out there about your? Because it's almost that time, Joe. Anything else
Yeah,
you want to
pretty
throw
much
out there?
that. I got to run. I do thank you guys very much for being here. Don't forget to smash the like right now. You know, of course, on the channel. Smash the like. Let people know about the channel. This one, mine. You know, all it's people helping people. And
Yes.
speaking about that, I got to help on my channel. It's going to start in a few minutes. I do thank you guys very much. We'll see you over there. Take care.
All right. Thanks, Joe. And yes, Joe's right. And like I was mentioning, if you just kind of hang here, I'm going to go through a couple of things real quick, and we're going to jump right over to Joe's show. This stream will automatically take you over to Joe's live stream, and you can go and get more alpha from Joe if you are interested in trading. So a couple of things. So again, new time for my daytime live streams, 11 a.m. Eastern time. So every Monday, Joe and I will be live 11 a.m. Eastern. And when I do go live later in the week, it will be 11 a.m. Eastern for any of my daytime streams. And others are going to stay the same, or at least are planning to stay the same for the rest of this year. So tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Eastern time, Matrix Money Podcast, myself, FF, Jar, going to be there talking about a few things. Those guys have a couple of things they want to talk about already, which I think is great. And I've got a couple of things I'm going to throw in the mix, and hopefully it'll be a great show for you. Again, that'll stay the same as of now, 6 p.m. Eastern time on Tuesdays. And then, as always, on Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern time, Crypto on the Rocks. It's growing. We've got a lot of people chiming in this past week. We had Biomex in there. We had Crypto Billy in there. Of course, Bedell was there. Shuby was there. And there is so much. I mean, we like to do it in a fun way because, again, bring your alcoholic beverage. And sometimes we can't think straight by the time the alcoholic beverages are kicking in. But we have some fun. We have a laugh. We give you a lot of information. Matter of fact, Billy was talking about some information on turning like 2 soul into like 20 soul. So go back and watch that if you didn't catch that. And yeah, so make sure that you're doing that. I really appreciate you joining us. Crypto on the Rocks every Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Again, on your way out, make sure you're smashing up that like button. Oh, Army Piper is in the house. Brother, appreciate you being here, my friend. Thank you. Appreciate it. We're going to be heading straight over to go see T.I. Joe on his channel because his stream should be starting now. So I appreciate you being here. And everybody, just hang tight. The stream will take you directly over to Joe. And it's time to make money with this crypto. That's Joe's thing. Actually, I think I butchered that. But you get the point with regard to that. All right. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Joe and I will see you next Monday. And I will see you guys tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Eastern time, Matrix Money Podcast. All right. I'm out. Head on over. Go show Joe some love.